Hey, good evening, everybody. How's it going? It's your boy Eric B. E-Buck is in the building. And once again, we are now doing an episode of Get Off My Lawn Live. I'm your host, Eric Buckner. And this week on Get Off My Lawn Live, I not only am doing the show, but I have a special guest. And that guest would be my beautiful and resilient cousin, Dr. Marla Facey.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and God bless each person that is here tonight, listening, and those that will listen later on. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I want to send a shout out to all her listeners as well as mine. For those of you who are on now and like to share the show with others and you want get it passed on to everybody and whatnot, get set up, by all means do so. Y'all know how I usually do it this time. I get my devices together so I can make sure I see all y'all comments because as we know, some of the comments they do post and I know who you are exactly. And some of them I have to kind of figure out through the Facebook. So while I'm doing that, Dr. Facey, please explain yourself and let people know who you are.
Okay, my name is Marla Facey, and I'm the host of Monumental Moments in God's Word. And tonight we are going to be discussing various topics that are an interest to us as Black people, but also just people in general. But I'm going to say, some of these issues are hitting our people a lot, and we're going to talk about them a lot more tonight about the preventions of taking one's own life. We're going to be talking about the COVID and the COVID, the shots, the vaccinations, and then whatever else Brother Eric has on his mind. We'll just tackle them as they come. Praise the Lord. But
All right.
I'm very glad to be with you all on tonight.
And we're very glad to have you, cuz. Thank you. All right, see a couple people have tuned in. Shout out friend Amy. Friend Amy, also known as my show contributor and does my research for me at times. I appreciate you. I also see Chief Devlin is in the house. Chief Devlin from Texas. Good to see you this evening, sir. Thank you for joining and checking me out for a second. Okay, we're about to go ahead and get right into it. As y'all know, I like to start the show off with trending topics. Before that, though, I will want to send a shout out to the people who have joined me, courtesy of the Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network, our voices, our people. That's what we are here for. We are here to not only entertain to a small degree, but to educate, to have conversations, to share these things with one another. Sometimes things that are widely discussed. Sometimes things are just discussed in our communities. But we're here to have these discussions. And remember, as always, want to have them respectfully. We want to interact with each other on the comments, but we want to do it in a respectful manner. We are all here. We are all people. And we all have come together in this time to learn from one another. So that being
Amen.
said, let's get on into it. Yep, there's Amy checking in. Hey, friends. Hey, Amy. How's it going today? How's Ruby? Ruby's her beautiful child that you see there in the picture. The biggest, I just want to pinch those cheeks. But yeah, what's going on, Amy? Okay, let us get to the get down, y'all. The trending topics. Okay, now of course we will have our usual update about coronavirus. At this point, we have over 16 plus million people who have contracted the virus here in the United States alone. Almost
Mm.
75 million people across the world. We have over a million plus people having died from coronavirus across the world. And here in the United States, we have eclipsed over 300,000 people. Now,
Wow. A
I
lot.
don't want to have these numbers being discussed and not have people understand that these are more than just numbers. These are people who we have lost. They are family members. And in the case of myself, they are people I used to work with, people who I worked for. They are people that I once had relationships with. In one sad case, there are a person that I was very close to, was one of my confidants in life.
Mm.
Lost
Sorry.
I've lost family members. I have family members who've lost their mothers and fathers. So at this point, I must always send a shout out and a prayer to you guys. It's been a rough go, and hopefully we are turning the corner and getting to some resolution of which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. But for now, we just know it hurt, and it's a lot to deal with sometimes. But it's gonna be okay, y'all. Okay, Amy,
Amen.
Ruby is great. She's going to bed now. Okay, good night, little Ruby. So, I know Amy will be in and out trying to deal with that there, so that's fine. We always appreciate you coming in when you can, Amy. Okay. So keep in mind, that being said, here in Michigan, our governor came on today and had a quick little meeting with us, as she tends to do once or twice a week, to update us on what's going on with the virus. And she has reported that here in Michigan, the cases are going down and the hospitalizations are going down, which is good. However, they're high. We are in the top 10 in the nation in terms of cases and deaths still, unfortunately. And keep in mind, I want people to understand, in this top 10 of states, we have California, Texas, Florida, Illinois, New York, Ohio, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Tennessee. And if you think about those particular states, most of your major cities in the United States are in those states. And in most of the major cities in the United States, there are large populations of people of color. So, of course, when they report the amount of people who have died in these cities, there are large numbers of them who are people of color. So these are things we have to keep in mind. Because as you know, a lot of people who are people of color tend not to have the type of health care and other such resources that it takes to help fight and combat such things if they become hospitalized or sick. So we need to keep that in mind. However, as you know, there are still people out here and they're not contented with things as the experts have warned us to do so. So pretty much every warning that they've given us so far in regards to if we don't do this, this happens, has pretty much been right on the ball. We've gone out during holidays and still partied, and the numbers have spiked. We have had gatherings, and the numbers have spiked. We have not paid attention and still did what we want to do, and hospitalizations are up. Everything that they warned us about, worst case scenario, has come to light. And unfortunately, we still have a leader, quote unquote, because y'all know how I feel about that. Don't mention that fool by name because I do not respect him because he don't respect me or my people. But he still, as opposed to being up in front in this pandemic and dealing with it properly, is still more concerned about his political stand.
The election. Yes.
Which brings us to the next topic. As you know, yesterday, the Electoral College made it official. They have put in votes, and as a result, as we all already knew, Joe Biden has won according to Electoral College. And as a result of that, some of the major Republican senators and whatnot have finally acknowledged him as the president-elect. In fact, even the Russian leader, the Orange Man's main boy, Putin, has also acknowledged him as president at this time. That being said, of course, said leader is still working out some type of political options and court options to make this not be the case. So even though he has very little to no way of fixing this now, he still refuses to concede and whatnot. Now, here's my thing with that. Keep in mind, he is not required by law to concede the election. I kind of look at it like how people have their 2-week notice. You're not necessarily required to put one in. It's just basically things that are properly done. It's the right way to do things. It's the way that we normally go about stuff. It's traditional, but he refuses to deal with it that way, unlike the 44 presidents before him. Bottom line is, people, we need to understand, and please remember this moment in time, because we can never find ourselves in this position with any other leader of our free world ever again. Do you agree, cousin?
I agree. It's really sad if you really think about it. It's really sad that after all those, like you said, 44 previous presidents have went to an inauguration that have actually conceded like normal human beings, that he couldn't even just reach inside of his lowermost parts of his stomach, in his soul, and actually say, you know what, Joe Biden won this fair and square. Or even if he never thought it, just have some common decency about it. I mean, it's really hard to believe, again, I guess after 4 years of living the way he's lived, it's not hard to believe, but you would think that that's the one thing you can at least do in leaving, you know. But we're concerned about, not we are, but I mean they are, him and his wife and them are concerned about what kind of staff they're going to have later and all this type of stuff, but yet they're not willing to leave America, at least obviously not better than the way they found it, but
Right.
at least leave it in a decent way to help it rebuild, because that's what we have to do. We have to rebuild now our
Absolutely.
relationships between each other, everything.
Right. Okay. Amy said, I'm glad you said that about access to healthcare. You could do a whole show on just that. Absolutely, I could. You guys know
Yeah.
anything about Quanon? Oh, that's not how you pronounce that.
QAnon.
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 I know bits and pieces, Amy. I know it's a terrorist-like organization or understanding that people keep throwing into the mix in regards to
They are a group of people that send out they're a group of people that send out superstitions, like different things that they you know, like it's kind of like already that's against the biblical side of things. They throw out futuristic like they got some type of readings into the future type of stuff, and that's already not biblical. So what they're doing is already not right. So people that follow that behavior and those things are already walking a fine chalk line between right and wrong. And so if you're a part of, if people just like the Proud Boys, you know, those type of organizations are terrorists. They're terrorist organizations. Now, I don't know whether Proud Boy is considered that as far as by law, but they are. That's exactly what they are. And so anybody that has anything to do with QAnon, just be careful. If you really don't believe in what they're believing in, then stop following them.
Right. Okay. Amy said there's a new entity named E in the QAnon canon. Like I said, I know it is a terrorist and a conspiracy theory organization, and they are putting a stamp on this. A lot of entities and whatnot still are out here plotting and planning to make some type of thing happen. One of the things that I liked about when Joe Biden came out and spoke last night, he basically wanted to again preach his message of unity and putting all this behind us and starting to rebuild our nation. And I feel like that is the type of rhetoric and talk that we want to hear from our leader right now, not what's going on in the White House at the moment, because there's still a lot of denial and what have you, at least on the end of the leader, when in fact we should be working toward what the new organization is going to do and working on our primary two problems, which is COVID and of course COVID relief.
Right.
Okay, Amy saying I don't know anything about beyond the name of the new entity receipt that he's considered Old Testament. Okay. Except he's considered Old Testament. Okay, I got you. Okay, we got Big Meech checking in. Big Meech is in the building for as long as
me.
keeps me logged in. I know you at the donut factory, Meech. I understand, brother. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate you. Big Meech from
Man, he got a donut factory. He need to be sending some of that this way.
Well, no, he's not actually at a donut factory. That's what he calls his job.
Oh, I was like, man, I'm hungry for some donuts. Come on.
I've been on donuts today, so truthfully, I lost 3 pounds last week, and I'm trying to gain it all back. Shame on me. Okay,
that's that COVID weight, staying inside.
Yep. Meech is saying domestic terrorism has many names, forces, and voices. Most have come to believe them to be normal and not terrorism. The sad truth of the matter. Okay, we got Princess Leia in the house. What's up? Good evening, Miss Leia. How are you? Okay, there is no real headway in terms of COVID relief as we go to that topic right quick. Basically today, the main heads of the House of Representatives and the Senate got together in a meeting at Nancy's office. So Ms. Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leaders, and McCarthy, and of course Mitch McConnell, the Republican leaders from the House and the Senate, they all got together, had a meeting. They said that they will come back later on this evening and talk some more, but they all have fully committed, at least at this point, that there will definitely be some type of deal reached by the end of the week in regards to COVID relief. Now, of course, there's been several different scenarios and proposals they've put out there. I've mentioned them all over the last few weeks. I just want them to do one that's going to be beneficial to the majority of the people, not one that's just going to benefit the big business people or the small business people that in turn get duped by the big business people. I want the people that's really struggling right now, the people that's trying to figure out how they're going to eat next week and what they're going to do for work or what's going to happen when this unemployment runs out next week. I want those people to be looked out for, because in the end, those are the people who hurt most. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Can I, what frustrates me, and I don't know how many people y'all can answer this but what frustrates me is that we can, as a nation, can come together and get, or as a party, as a political party, come together and give a 417 million dollars.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, my cousin,
okay, but we
contributions they've given him since the election.
Right. So we can, as a community, they can do that. But when it comes to feeding the homeless or the people that need it, or that are losing their jobs, they can't come up with money to take care of that. Somebody please explain that. Like, how are you able to give this man who has already lost an election all that kind of money? But when you need to come up with a situation to help, do you know how much 417 million could help the people? I don't understand that.
Absolutely. But meanwhile, we wait on foolish lawsuits and basically keep in mind all this money that they're donating to him. That's not money he has to use for what purpose you think it's for.
Right.
He use it for his personal usage or for paying his staff that consists of his relatives, his daughter, his son-in-law, etc. So just keep that in mind as you foolishly spending your money, or maybe not. That's your guy. That's your guy.
Are you able to see Miss Taylor, what she's put on there?
Okay, I'm gonna get to that momentarily here.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you was able to see that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Meech is saying, remember the time to make donuts commercials? Yes, I do. Time to make the donuts. I remember those commercials. We all at that particular age. So okay. Yep. We got Miss Pat in the house. Hey, Miss Pat, how you doing? Appreciate you for joining the show this evening. Saying hi to Miss Pat, of course. My boo Nikki is in the house. Hey, Nikki boo. Nikki from Dish and Tea, also known as Aunt Nikki.
Oh, that's Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
She says, especially while they're always talking about foreign terrorists, they need to fix the problem of domestic terrorism. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And I had to hang. Okay. So I can contact Lindsey Graham. Yeah, she's been in touch with Lindsey Graham's office to encourage him several times to get something done about this relief bill, because he's demonic talking about Mr. Orange. Yes.
Right. I have a question, and maybe because she has that contact, I got a question, and maybe she can answer or you can answer. But okay. So they fussed about the legal or the votes. Okay, they fussed about the votes not being fair.
Right.
But if you can recall, when they called the state of North Carolina, where Lindsey Graham is actually at,
no,
they called it. Is it South? He's in South Carolina or North, whichever one. I'm asking, is it North or South? Whichever one it was.
South Carolina, yeah.
South Carolina. Okay. So, but within 15 or 20 minutes of the election stuff going on, they called that state. Okay. And I often wonder, and same with Mitch McConnell's state.
Yeah.
I often wonder.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They called those like bam. How can you say that the elections are unfair if you guys win in 15 or 20 minutes of the vote? And I don't know, Miss Taylor may be able to answer that for me, or at least have some type of idea of how come they can call their states like that, like bam, but yet there was no full counting. They was like on 40 or 30% when they called it. Yeah. How do we, my question is, just as well as y'all think that there's voter fraud in the states that was Wisconsin and Michigan and all them states, why is it so unheard of that we may think there was voter fraud where they at?
Right. Because I do want to raise that question as well. Why, outside of course that ridiculous Texas lawsuit, your main lawsuits were just in those swing states.
Yeah, those swing
And
states.
there were no issues with the states that you actually won or the states that you lost by so many votes. You just sound like an idiot even trying to fight them, like a California or New York. Explain.
Right.
I also want to explain why a lot of those lawsuits were placed in townships that had large populations of African Americans, coincidentally enough.
Yeah. So I
right.
was, yeah. And so,
okay.
And so,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, and so I was just kind of concerned because I see that she has communication with those people there. I'm kind of wondering if they asking those kind of questions, because that would be one of the things that would concern me as a voter in that area, you know, but I know she can't personally do, I'm just,
right.
Just throwing that out there.
Okay. Miss Pat saying hi to you, by the way.
Hey, Miss Pat,
I'm going to continue to contact and fight for our rights. Absolutely, Miss Pat, I hear you. Nikki is saying, Eric, I will give you the exact numbers of how many billions of dollars spent on wars that have nothing to do with us, because I have done 2 papers on the subject in reference to why we can't get universal health care or feeding the poor. Exactly.
There you go.
Or universal education for that matter, Nikki. I agree. Hello, everyone. Hey, Nikki. Okay. Amy saying some states like Alabama are mostly registered Republicans that can be cashed early because they never vote against their party. Exactly. Because they are racist and Trump supporters are a demonic mess. Okay.
That's the real truth right there.
Yeah, that is the real truth. Okay. Misha saying, why haven't the parties been able to raise funds to protect the people? Exactly.
Right.
Political parties kept the funds raising efforts alive after the elections to be in good favor with the citizenship. I agree, Meech, absolutely. And here's another issue I want to point out in terms of all of that. Okay, why have we got to a point where we are going and threatening our public officials to the point where they have to have armed guards just to even vote in electoral college? Do you realize here in Michigan, they basically had to shut off the Capitol from any regular business and shuffle the people that were involved in the electoral college in by themselves and had armored guards outside of the room and the Capitol to ensure that nothing happened, because many of them were getting death threats, including our governor, who's still continuing to get death threats.
It makes, I mean, honestly, it makes a person be like, I don't even want to work for them because they're so, you know, but I mean, somebody has to take on and do what they're called to do. But I'm just like, you know, I wouldn't even want the job if this is what, you know, it's just ridiculous how people, and then they have the people, the Proud Boys and people like that burning up here in DC, like we're right here outside of where we live. Like, Are you serious? Are we really serious? But we should have known that was going to already happen, because remember, he told them to stand down and stand back,
or something to that effect.
Something to that effect.
Stand by.
Right. So now that he's already lost that electoral, he ain't saying nothing to him. Go on, go forward, bro. That's what he's saying to him. You know, so yeah, it's really ridiculous.
Okay. Also, calling the states doesn't mean that the vote stopped being counted. Exactly. We saw this election, some states are called and uncalled more than once. Absolutely. Dick said at the day he lost the electoral and the popular vote by 7 million votes, I might add. We then said it was when he said it was voter fraud, even when he knew Hillary won the popular vote, when he called foul play, nothing was done. So dumb Donald can miss me with that BS. Absolutely. Okay. Let's see. They were threatened here in Atlanta. Yeah, they threatening people down there. They beating people up in Atlanta for candidate. It's ridiculous.
And burning stuff.
How long Obama gone from office and Trump is still talking about Obama and accuse him for everything? Yes, please keep my man's name out your mouth, man.
4 years and counting, and he's still talking about Obama.
Still jealous of Obama. Mad because
you know,
8 years and you can't get 8 years.
Yeah.
Like a child.
And he knew, and you know what? He knew he wasn't in the running for 8 years. The only way he was gonna even remotely win is by cheating, and even his cheating didn't do any good this time.
Nope. Okay, I have a conspiracy theory, says Amy. Trump reportedly paid people to attend his rallies before he gained momentum in 2015. Yes, those reports are there. He had a cult following that will do anything he asks now. Also true. I think that these people who are attacking public officials being to that camp and are doing so by request. I would not doubt that at all, Amy.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Not. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they talked to some of these people on the news, particularly Fox News, because you know they get real candid with them. Some of the stuff that come out their mouth, it'd be like, "Are you serious?
Yep.
You really mean that?"
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like one Trump supporter they told today said was on the news and said the CNN had them on and they asked, well, do you now think that President elect Biden is the new president? She said, oh no. Like I was like, Lord Jesus, really?
Yeah.
There's something else.
Big man, yeah. It's hard not to cuss when talking about that fool. True enough. He was talking about Obama before he was elected, but did you know what it really did? Obama roasted Trump at a party. I recall that. Like it. But see, keep in mind, Trump started when he started questioning where he came from. He didn't want to start all that mess. Amy, I would not be surprised. Agreed, because he cheated in the first time and the people. Yep, all of that. Yep. Okay, of course, we all tired of it, and apparently his main boy tired of it too. So that's why he put in his resignation yesterday.
I got a question about that. Okay,
Okay, Attorney General Bill Barr rendered his resignation yesterday after a couple years of being the Attorney General, the second one, man, y'all. And just getting belittled in the last couple of weeks by his boy. Oh, yeah, it was 3. You're right. It has been 3 Attorney Generals. You are correct. But, we all know a couple of weeks ago he came out and said that there was no massive fraud to be found in the election. And of course, Donald Trump was not happy. Ooh, nasty mouth. He did not like that. Sorry, I ain't mean to because my bad. I wasn't supposed to say the word. He tricked me.
He Trumponianed you?
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Clown is so cray-cray. He is the only fraud talking about how he won the election. And Dr. Ben Carson is a brain surgeon that needs brain surgery. He's an uncle. When Ben Carson came to Baltimore, my friends made him leave. And here's another thing, folks. Didn't y'all find out real interesting that when he was campaigning, all the major cities where most of the people of color, his African Americans, he like to call him, never seem to stop in those cities. Always want to go to up north and to the suburban areas. But meanwhile, Biden and Harris was the ones that came to Detroit and Chicago and Houston and Dallas and places like that. That's why they won the way they won.
It's beneath him to come there, guys. Come on.
The first time, and people who may not have voted 4 years ago was not going for it that time. Nope. The question is, Meech says, what are we going to do now? We can't wait for January 20th. We must fertilize the soil now, the land, and let's plant new seeds and tend to our gardens so we can benefit from a full, incredible harvest. And that also piggybacks off of what Meech talked about earlier. He went live and had an impromptu dish and tea on the road broadcast. I love that broadcast, Meech. You had a lot of excellent points in that. I have shared that on the Get Off My Lawn Nighthawk Network page. So for those of you who are interested in what he had to say, please check it out. He had a lot of very good points.
I like that. Toil the soil and plant those seeds. That is so true. In the spiritual and non-spiritual realm, that is actually what we got to do.
Toil the soil, plant those seeds. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's a t-shirt. You know, y'all always talking about t-shirt themes. They're going to want for you here, Meech. Okay.
Yep, the little dirt things, the little dirt tracks.
Yeah, true, Amy. Let me make that accurate, Amy. He didn't say there was no fraud. He said there wasn't enough fraud to change. Yeah, because you know, every election there's bits and pieces of fraud. True enough, but he said there was no difference between this and any other election. So yeah, you're right about that, Amy. She's my fact checker too, y'all. Okay, what administration has had that many people fired or quit? We have never had that. Exactly. That's why the years seem like so much longer. It really do. Yep, Biden is here in Atlanta. Sure is. Preach, Meech. Yes, sir. I have to get on the stimulus check call, so I'll talk to you later. Pranitha, when you come back, please explain that to people. I think that's important. because he knew Trump was going to fire him, but Barr doesn't care because he only had a few weeks left in office. Absolutely.
Right.
Because he resigned, he'll still get his and all that good stuff. And of course, give me 1 second. Okay, you know, he put in his resignation and had all these glowing things to say about his boy and how he did this to change the world. And his boy in turn went on Twitter. And unlike how he does with most people, he fires or leave him. He wasn't all negative about him. He had nothing but good things to say about him. Okay, go ahead, cuz.
Right, point blank. The reason why he did that, the reason why he had all those glorious things to say about him is because Barr knows the inside. Barr knows everything that he's asked him to do, all that little trickery, nasty stuff that he's got.
Yes.
What you putting up? I can't see.
Receipts. Barr got the receipts.
There you go.
He did. He know where the skeleton bones is buried.
Exactly.
Go there with Barr.
That's right. But the question that I had about Barr, because I was going to go on that, because I was like, okay, now 2 weeks. What is it? The 20th of January. He has. Yeah. He was supposed to stay. What is going to happen my question would be, what in a month that he needed to get out and somebody else can come in, and what can happen in that month, in that time? There's a lot of little secret things that can really take place that we may not never know about till after it's done.
Okay, well, keep in mind, we all waiting for that big announcement, because remember, they're saying he has a lot of people he plans on pardoning on his way out the door. And who knows what that list consists of. Of course, we know there's even talk that he will try to pardon himself, which is very interesting. Because
if you ain't doing nothing wrong, if you ain't did nothing wrong.
Right.
You know.
Why do you pardon yourself if you're not guilty of anything?
Right. I ain't never seen a president. Well, in the 40, well, I ain't even seen 44 presidents, but we've never heard of anybody pardoning themselves, like as to say, oh, I'm guilty of this, so I need to be pardoned for it. Why are we guilty of this? I mean, you know, that's
right. I mean, that particular individual needs to remember, you work for the people.
The people.
Because you are a billionaire, you don't necessarily see it that way, but you work for the people. And right now, you do not have the people's best interest in heart by dealing with this foolishness. There's a whole pandemic out here. People out here losing their jobs and everything else. And your main primary focus is not what it needs to be. It is on your own greed and desires. Okay, well, he has already signed off on those
executions.
And that's another thing.
Yes, talk about it.
Talking about what presidents normally don't do during this time. It has not been presidents who have signed off on executions during a transitional period. Just like there wasn't presidents that basically appoint Supreme Court justices on their way out the door. And when it comes even close to that, they don't want to hear it. But yet the rules somehow changed when he became involved.
Right.
Okay. Presidents can't pardon themselves. These rumors that he'll resign right before the election and have Pence pardon him. Yes, that's been discussed as well. Like I said,
but
I ain't saying
who's going to pardon Pence? Who's going to pardon Pence?
Exactly.
You know, because Pence is just as guilty, because you know what they say. If I know you're committing crimes and I failed to do anything about it, I'm committing those same crimes. So if Pence, you know what I'm saying? So if Pence is going ahead and gonna do that, then he's just as guilty. Who's gonna pardon him?
Absolutely. Okay, let me take a couple more comments and let me get to the rest of this. Gotta keep it moving, y'all. Okay, hold on. Hey, y'all, that's one of the problems that officials don't get, is that they are working for us all. We are their bosses. Absolutely. Of course, the Central Park Fab accuser will sign off on executions in a hurry. And man, every time I think about that story, Amy, I get pissed off. Still ain't got every that day. Full page ad and all. But no, you wrong and still can't admit it. Terrible. Okay, he's a nut, says Miss Pat. My mother and my brother, who is my pastor, said pray for Trump. Take Trump to the altar and leave him there. Trump just brought us all out of racism, which was hidden. People are just comfortable with it because they feel Trump is in office. Trump is just like the devil to kill, steal, and destroy. She really.
You better preach that, Pat. You better preach that.
Nikki saying, it's like I said, how does it feel to go down as the worst president in U.S. history? And the beginning presidents were slave owners. Ain't that the truth? But the way he acted, you would think that if he could own them, he probably would too. Again, that's the opinion of just me, Eric Buckner, not the opinion of my cousin or anybody in the Nighthawk Network. Okay, I just said what I said. Okay, no. Pence isn't guilty. Trump is guilty of tax fraud in New York and probably several other things. Don't forget that's going to come up.
Yeah.
And they're going to lock.
But we don't know. We don't know.
They're going to lock Pence right up too. So I hope Pence does it. Okay. Yep, it shows us we are in the last days. Indeed, Miss Pat. Indeed. Yes. Frustrated with it too. Okay, let's get to some of these other things right quick in the hot topics. Yes, we will get to that in a second. You already know where I'm going with that next one, but let me break out a couple little things. HBO Max has partnered with Warner Brothers Films to release all their entire movie catalog for next year. So basically, all the movies that were supposed to come out by Warner Brothers to the big screen, they still will, but they also will simultaneously be streamed to HBO Max, where you can watch them for the first 30 days. And it's no extra charge, just to charge your HBO Max fee. Now, apparently what people are saying is this is about to be a trend because some of the other major film companies are looking to do this as well. As you know, Disney has their streaming platform, and they're saying that the Marvel movies might possibly do this on the Disney platform. And of course, everybody's trying to work out deals with HBO, not HBO, but with the new Apple TV, with Hulu, and with Netflix to do something similar. So the bottom line is going to the movies about to die out, y'all. Would you rather watch these movies at the house when they first come out, or would you rather go to the movies and see them with the big screen and the popcorn and the surround sound? Bottom line is I'm with you, cuz I want to see them at the crib. I love this. Because in the end, if you
know why? You know why, Eric?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know why, Eric? Because I can make my own popcorn and it ain't got to cost that much money.
Exactly. And man, it probably tastes better. Ain't nothing worse than you pay $7-8 for that doggone movie popcorn and it's stale. It's tagged.
And you can get a sheet. You can get a white sheet that's just as big as a screen and put it on your wall.
They got so many different type of. Just go on Amazon, y'all. They got all type of recorders and
that's right. That's right.
All that. You could make it like the movies at your house. You can make it better because some of the food that you'll serve at your movie home will be way better than high price stuff you get at the movie. So if it's up to me, the movie's about to be through with.
That's right.
Because Meech, I know you out there. You know Wonder Woman. That's your girl. I know you can't wait to see that movie. I know you can't. And like I said, Christmas. I ain't much for Christmas, but that day, that's what I'll be doing. I'm gonna watch that movie on HBO Max right here on the screen and be just as fine with it. Okay, hold on. Got some comments. And to think that my father's brother down in Bible Belt, Oklahoma, actually supported this racist orange clown. No, he didn't, Leah. No, he didn't. What we call them Trump supporters, cuz?
Trumponians.
He's a Trumponian.
The modern day Pharisees.
Yep. Both of those things. No, I would never be no Trumponian. Well, it's my opinion too, E. Absolutely, Nikki. I thank you. Excellent. Okay. Amy said, I love watching movies at home anyway. I don't have to throw popcorn at teenagers. I know that's right. Me just saying, act like we are their bosses, right? By understanding how each job works. We need to learn the system instead of expecting the system to tell us what they're going to do. And that's the one thing, if I want to give food credit, it'll be for that. Now, because of how he's dealt with everything, we have a more thorough understanding of our government than we ever had before.
Yep. And some of the things we found out now, they're going to need to change the Constitution on some things, because if you think about just the whole fact of not showing your taxes, ain't nobody ever heard of a president not showing their taxes, but who didn't do it? And since he didn't do it, they're going to have to make that either you're going to make it a rule or you're going to make it where nobody ever has to do it again. But you're going to need to deal with those situations. Right.
Okay. I make stuff like adobo on home movie night jump. Man, would none be better than movie night with tacos? Y'all know I love me some tacos. For those of y'all that visit my page and be seeing that food I'll be making, I will be making tacos tomorrow. You done seen some of my food, cuz. Don't act like that. I know you done seen that food I've been posted. Tell me it don't look good.
But that chicken look good. I don't know about them tacos. I ain't a taco person, but that chicken look good. That you had that chicken smothered in something. I said, look at that.
My food, y'all let cuz know my food be the bomb like that there. Okay.
Well, you should be mailing some or something, cause I'm hungry right now.
I've had a few requests today alone. Okay, I like at home, but being a film, I like at home, but seeing a film at the theater is everything for me. Like I said, I get that. I mean, let me be honest. Okay, as far as the Marvel movies go, them might be better at the movie theater because I just like the whole sound effects and all that of it. But basic movie A, B, and C, no, I want to see that at the house. Okay, Leah, I wonder if MGM Studios is on that list, Eric. Yeah, because that's right. The James Bond movie was supposed to come out in April next year, or this year, right? Now they moved to April next year. That's right. So it may be affected. I read something about that may indirectly affected in the Wall Street Journal a few months ago. Yep. And it was regarding the company status and who might be looking to buy it. Yep. That is correct. I saw that article as well. You're right about that. I love Adobo. Adobo is good. I can't lie. Being a filmmaker, something about being in the theater is everything. Yep. I get it, Nikki. I get it. I am there either in the theater or HBO Max. Wonder Woman will get the just due. Me's gonna watch that movie about 5, 6, 10, 12 times. I'm gonna watch a few times myself. Y'all know I love my superhero movies.
I got a question. Is this Nicole the same Nikki we watch with Meech?
Yes, that's Aunt Nikki. And she also has
Nikki. Okay.
Let's talk.
Okay. Hi, Aunt Nikki. Now I'm putting the face with the okay. How are you doing?
That is okay. I knew there was a reason we get along. Amy said, yep, that's right. Facts, indeed. Okay. Again, shout out to all y'all checking the show out. Even if you just stop in for a few minutes, we appreciate it. Okay, right now I got a couple side things to contend with. In other words, I need some water. My mouth getting dry. We're gonna hit one of my famous commercials that I've been making. Don't be laughing at me, Meech. And we will be right back with more of Get Off My Lawn Live. Hi, this is your boy Eric Buckner, and right now you're looking at my show, Get Off My Lawn Live, here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Tune in each Tuesday as we talk trending topics, what's going on in my world, and the things that I feel we all need to talk about and have discussions about as people. So again, thanks for checking out the show and tune in each week for Get Off My Lawn Live with me, your host.
That was really nice. I like that.
There we go. Welcome back to the show, guys. Get Off My Lawn Live is in effect. I am your host, Eric B. E. Buckner in the building, and my cousin, Marla Facey, is with us as well. We are still talking hot topics or trending topics right now. Let's see. Yes, it is Aunt Nikki. Nikki wanted you to know. And Leah's saying, my stepmom is Filipina. That's what's up. Yep.
Amen.
Meech saying, this is how you get better, but you doing it, baby. Yeah, I'm working on it, Meech. I'll be like,
and it was a nice one.
I appreciate it. I've been working it out. Okay. Now another topic I want to talk about is this Washington Post article that came out earlier this week that discussed our future First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, and basically wanted to point out the fact that she should not use the title of doctor because she is not a medical MD. Although, as we know, she has studied and received her doctorate in education. So that, of course, brings up the topic of whether or not people should be called doctor for whatever reason, or people who are not medical doctors should have the title doctor. Bottom line is Jill Biden has been an educator for over 40 years. She has worked toward her doctor's degree and earned it. She has every right to call herself Dr. Jill Biden. And if you choose not to call her that, that is your own foolishness. I myself feel like that article was made by someone who has sour grapes, someone who is a sexist, because as the future vice president's husband pointed out, if that had been a man, this article would not have seen the light of day. And I completely agree. Keep in mind, basically, women have had the right to vote only 100 years now. There were many years where women were not allowed to study to be a doctor of any kind in this United States that is so-called great. So for a person who is in the minority, that is a woman or a person of color, what have you, to obtain a doctorate degree is a high honor, and they should celebrate that fact. So if you have earned the right to be called doctor, by all means, Dr. Jill Biden, you do that. And anybody got a problem with it, they can kick rocks. Now, for those of you that don't understand it, I'm going to have my cousin, Dr. Marla Facey, explain it a little first.
Really, you did such an obvious, outstanding job. There's nothing more to really explain. When you go to school, you get your doctorate, you're allowed to carry that name. You do not have to be a medical doctor to have a doctorate, And so because of that, she's earned what she has, and whether she went to school 8 years or 25 years, if she got it, she got it. And I just think that that's horrible that they'd want to do that, because any other person, no matter what, I'm trying to think, is there any other person that's ever been in the White House or that's been called a doctor? I don't know that they have, but if she's the first doctor to actually be in the White House, then she deserves that. I don't see any other thing I don't have anything else to say about it, because a PhD, the doctors that go into schooling and get their go do medical doctor stuff or psychiatry doctor stuff or dental stuff, they're considered doctors and dentists, which is also doctor in dentistry. You don't take that away from them, but because you're in counseling or Christian studies or theological studies or whatever the case, all those types of different studies, you still are a doctor in it. It's a higher education. It shouldn't be taken from her in any type of level.
Exactly. She has earned that right. And that is that. Keep in mind, there are several people that get honorary doctorate degrees. We know about that. If that's the case, then of course that makes Shaquille O'Neal a doctor. That makes Oprah Winfrey a doctor. That makes I could go on and on. They do that all the time. But no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about people that actually have put in the work to make it happen. One such person out there now, Lord Rhonda Young, shout out to you. Hopefully you were able to catch this part of the podcast. I want to give you your shout out and continue to work towards your doctorate. You will do great, as you have been doing great all this time. I love your voice. Continue to do you. Other people talking about being doctors. Miss Aunt Nikki, I'm getting my MBA and definitely plan on getting my PhD, and I will be addressed as Dr. Mayo Corsi. No, you will be Dr.
Go ahead now.
You will be Dr. Nikki Boo or Dr. Auntie Nikki for anybody. Exactly. Yes, Nikki. Dentists are also called doctors. Yes, because they also work on the body, as they should be. Because dentists could kill you if they don't know what they're doing. They need that study. Okay.
And guess what? Psychiatrists can kill you if they give you the wrong medication for your mental disabilities. Counselors can kill you if they give you the wrong type of counseling and you go off and do something real crazy and mess your life up or someone else's. So yes, it's all education,
Right.
So yeah, they're a little crazy on that one.
This is some bull. The doctorate degree is just that, doctorate. That's why Dr. Demetrius Taylor, MD, would be my pronoun. Absolutely. Give me my profit.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, there's that. Okay, one last thing, then we're going to get to the meat of the show. Shout out to the great Tyler Perry. He has donated over $100,000 to the defense fund of Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. As you know, he initially was trying to be criminally charged for shooting the officer in that whole incident. Those charges were eventually dropped. But now, of course, that officer who he shot, is now suing him civilly because he's claiming not only the fact that he shot him, he's also caused him great mental anguish, and his reputation has turned to all these other things. It's a bunch of mess.
That is horrible. Horrible.
Because keep in mind, we're going to keep saying Breonna Taylor's name because we know they still ain't done it right by her, and we ain't forgot. And another thing in 2021, remember, all these trials are coming up for all these incidents that we've seen and been reported over the news with George Floyd and what have you, Ahmaud Arbery. Those trials are coming up next year, folks. And you know, if something go wrong or go left, it's going to get ugly all over again.
Well, the young man that just got killed in his back, shot in his back recently.
Been looking out. That brother has not forgotten where he's come from. He remembers those days when he was sleeping in his car and didn't have a pot to piss in and nothing to throw it out of. And since then, he came up and he's trying to take his people with him, and I really appreciate that. How did he suffer mental anguish when he was clearly in the wrong? Duh. And what happened to body cams, y'all? I still want to know why everybody's body cam was off that night. Breonna Taylor, that's right. Say her name.
Why did he go? Why did one of the shooters go missing? Why did one of the police go missing for over an hour?
That part. Y'all could go on YouTube and look up all the different little shows they did about it. You'll get a little better information. But anyway, I should be suing them for my anger during this time. Absolutely. They get my damn nerd. I know that's right. Okay, we're about to get to the show here. As y'all know, the vaccine has been approved here in the United States, and Monday, sometime early Monday afternoon, I believe it was, one of the first people to be vaccinated is a young lady by the name of Sandra Lindsay, a nurse at a hospital in Long Island, New York. And of course, they have broadcasted that because she was seen as first, but more importantly, she was a person of color. And of course, as you know, there has been much to be said about the vaccines and whether or not we as Americans will take them. Now, remember, we had that whole discussion a couple of weeks ago on the show about vaccines and how they work, the various trials, and how your basic vaccine usually takes 5 or 10 years to get properly vetted and analyzed and approved. We know this one was done in less than 8 months, pretty much. But there are also facts and things that we need to consider here now that the vaccine is actually out here. Because keep in mind, they're saying the whole key to this thing is that we gain herd immunity. Now, remember, Meech, when I was telling you about herd immunity and you didn't quite understand where I was coming from? I know you probably got it situated now, but for the rest of the audience, let me break this down. Herd immunity is basically where you get the vast majority of the herd, in this case, us human beings in the United States, to be immunized or vaccinated against the virus so that when everybody starts to commingle on a regular, you are less likely to be around someone who actually has the virus and will pass it to you. In other words, let's say you're in a room with like 20 people. If 16 of y'all have been vaccinated, then the 4 people that might have the virus, they are less likely to spread it to the herd and more likely to just kind of dissipate. Basically, you give the virus less hosts to grab onto. Because, of course, as we know, if you don't know by now, coronavirus is very contagious, y'all. Very few people have had a household where they and they alone have contracted the virus. Once it gets in your house, it pretty much gets in your house. Everybody get it. The kids, the mama, the dog, everybody. It's a bad do, y'all. It's a bad do. There are even experts that suggested now that when somebody in the household has the coronavirus, everybody else in the house need to walk around like this the whole time. Because otherwise, more than likely, because of the close indoor spaces, you more likely will get it. And they're saying now that most of the positive cases that they're doing the contact tracing and whatnot is tracing back to 1 of 3 things. 1, restaurants, gyms and things of that nature. 2, people having these enclosed gathering parties that they ain't got no business having right now. Or 3, being in a household where there's several people and those people co-mingle with other folks. You think you know what you're doing, but meanwhile they come home and they bringing you the groceries and coronavirus, and that's a bad do. Now, the major concern also is the fact that a large disproportionate amount of African Americans are contracting the virus and becoming part of the statistics. Keep in mind, remember earlier in the show when I pointed out the 10 states that have the highest positive counts right now? Let me go through that again right quick. Ohio, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Tennessee, California, Texas, Florida, Illinois, and New York. Most of your major cities are in those states. Your Chicago, your Los Angeles, your Houston, your Dallas, your Miamis, all that. A lot of those major cities, that's where most of the people of color stay. 80% of African Americans stay in 20% of the states, okay? Most of those major cities are where large congregations of African Americans live. So most of these people who are dying of coronavirus tend to be older African Americans. As you know, more men are dying than women in terms of the coronavirus. But keep in mind when they do the polls as to, okay, do you wear your mask? Yes. Do you wear your mask? No. Most of the people are saying no, tend to be more men than women. That being said, I'm going to go with my eye test. The few times that I need to go out and about to buy my things and get my stuff together, my essentials, I go out here in the stores and all day I see the same thing. Either people got the mask and they mask so doggone flimsy, it might as well be a piece of toilet paper. That thing ain't covering nothing. Or they got the mask on and it's on all kind of crazy. It's on like this here. It's on over your nose like this here. It's all like this here. That's not an effective way to use said mask. So, of course, you are contributing to the issue. And that's for the people that's actually wearing the mask. Because depending on what store you go into, you go there, the people behind the counter ain't got no mask. The people coming to the store, they ain't got no mask. And don't nobody say jack, spoo, squat to them. Nothing whatsoever. And that is a bunch of crap. And people get tired of telling them, oh, where your mask at? Man, your business, blah, 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 blah. I have my rights. I'm a human being. If I get it, I get it, and all that other foolishness. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. And everybody out here dropping like flies. But then y'all the same people that turn around, now it's time to get vaccinated and say, they ain't getting me. Now keep in mind, I understand some of the rationale, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But my whole thing is this. If you are just blatantly saying, okay, I'm not dealing with none of that, I myself kind of feel like at this point, you need to go ahead and line up and get stuck. You ain't trying to cooperate no way. You might as well go and be one of the first guinea pigs. Because you guinea pig by not dealing with stuff properly. Y'all know what it is. Stop acting like people trying to control you and put you back in slavery because they told you to put a mask on. That's just stupid. Again, these are Eric Buckner and Get Off My Lawn Live. They are not those of the Night Home Network. But that's how I feel on it. Go ahead, cuz.
Did you hear of the guy that just lost his, just today it was on the news earlier before I came upstairs, that said that he lost his foot behind having COVID. Trump supporter. Trump supporter. He said he was a dire Trump supporter.
And see, and it's crazy how we have to lump all those things together and it's all political. Okay, I'm not wearing that. The president didn't. I'm not wearing that. That's a Democrat mess. That all goes back to the very beginning of this thing.
Why we're in the situation we're in.
It's just a hoax. This is something schemed up by the Democrats that caused division. But in the end, he was the one that caused all the division. He the hoax. Okay, I wish I would take that mess. That all the Trump supporters all get it. How we dealt with chickenpox, herd immunity. Okay, that is another one. See, keep in mind, Amy, that's the reverse. Where basically, okay, y'all got the chickenpox. You might as well be around them germs. Everybody get it on out the way and move on. Can't necessarily do it like that with the coronavirus. Some people, they wanted to deal with it that way. And the Trump administration figuring that, okay, only a very small percentage of people die, but 300,000 of anything is a lot, period. How long does it take to make the regular flu vaccine? Like I said, most vaccines take 5 to 10 years to develop. And again, let me point out something about vaccines. Let me get there. Hold on. It takes approximately 5 to 6 months for the first supply of approved vaccine to become available once a new strain of influenza virus with pandemic potential is identified and isolated. And why do we know this, Dr. Facey? Please explain to the people.
I looked it up online.
Right, but also tell them about some previous work. You know what I'm getting at.
Well, now when it comes to vaccines, I've never worked in vaccines.
I
but that. I do know I do know that that it takes a while to do this stuff. You can't, it could take even up to a year before they actually, by the time the scientists are doing everything they need to do, they go through all of the what do you call them when they use the people to I'm trying to think of what you call it. What we just did, where they have cases, they do all.
See, here's the thing. Let me break it down to you, people.
But again, I don't know.
These things are broken down into certain parts of the trial. First, there's the developmental part, where the developmental formula that they want to try. Then there's trial 1, where they just take a few people and test them and see if it's safe and effective. Then they do the trial 2, where they do a placebo group, where they give some of them the real thing and some of them a fake version thereof. And they test those 2 people to see how they react. Then they get that data. Then they go to the 3, where they get a bigger crowd, somewhere between 25, 50,000, whatever the case may be. And they want to get as many different ethnic groups and genders in it as possible. And they test it on that. And then they get, and those things tend to take anywhere from several months to a couple or a few years. And then they compile that data together. They send it into the FDA. They look at it. CDC looks at it. And then they set up for what is a final approval. Keep in mind, these vaccines that's coming out now, they're coming out for emergency use only. Now, let me tell you about emergency use. That is something that was only started by the FDA in 2009 to basically using emergency such as a pandemic. Otherwise, they would go through the normal process. Now, that being said, remember, the reason why it's emergency use and not full use is because we don't have enough sufficient data to understand the long-term effects of any of these vaccines. So that in itself is kind of admittance to myself that it's still part of the trial. It's just instead of working on 35 to 50,000 people, we're going to work on a few hundred million or a couple billion. Okay, hold on. Nikki saying, no, I said, how long did the first vaccine take to be made, tested, and approved for the regular flu vaccine? We know it was years, so no damn way I'm taking something that took less than a year to make. And a lot of people make that point, Nikki, absolutely. They have not discovered all of the side effects. Correct. This vaccine is too risky, but I guess it's a first step. And speaking of said side effects, Mr. Meach, one of them that has come up in both of these vaccine trial people, that it will be the Moderna people who are up for approval this week, and the Pfizer vaccine that was approved last week, is that there were 4 cases in both vaccines where people developed partial facial paralysis, similar to what's known as Bell's palsy, where basically your face is froze and it's stuck like that. Now, sometimes that happens, and as time goes on, you go back to normal, but sometimes it's permanent. And at this point, a couple of people that they tested, their paralysis has went away, but some of them still have that issue. And keep in mind, we're talking about 30 or 40 or 50,000 people, and out of that, 4 of each group. Now, because people have their concerns, those things that happen in terms of severe side effects, so let's also mention the 2 people last week that got the virus, they got the vaccine over in the UK and had severe allergic reactions. Those are the things that will be magnified at this point. So if anybody has any serious problems with any of these vaccines, them going to be the first things that people point out, like, see, that's why I'm not taking it. Now, if you talk to the vast majority of the experts, they give you that understanding that in any of these trials, these things do happen. The reason why we know them now is because of what it is and what we're going through. But in your typical vaccine trials, some people have issues, and those are studied. That's why sometimes these trials are stopped. For example, of the 6 people that the 6 companies that the government has set aside money to give for doses of vaccine, the GSK, that company, they had to stop their trial and start over because the several people they tested in their second part of the trial had issues and they needed to shut it down and start it all over again. So they're saying it may not be till April or May before they are able to meet their commitment. So there's that issue. There's also people who basically have remember, a couple of these trials before they came out now was paused because there was an issue with 1 or 2 of the people, and they wanted to make sure it could be safe as possible. That's point 1. Point 2, remember, and something that people don't fully understand, I feel, vaccine is not cure, people. Vaccine is not cure. Hold on. Wait a minute. Sometimes, I got to go here when people, vaccine is not a cure, okay? That means that if you do receive the vaccine for COVID-19, that does not mean that all of a sudden you are Superman and nothing can touch you. Anybody, you can go in a room full of people with COVID-19 and not get the least bit of sick or none of that. Understand how these vaccines work. It's not like previous older vaccines where they basically take a part of the issue, weaken it to a very small point, add certain things in its chemical DNA, and then insert it in your body, showing your body how to fight it. These are like proteins that they're taking and basically manipulating their DNA to teach it how to fight this particular virus, then incorporating it in your body, and in turn, your body's natural vaccine fighting ability meet up with that and learns and codes from that particular thing, and then becomes able to fight the vaccine itself. That being said, it does not stop you from possibly contracting it. It just makes your body a little better guarded or makes it easier to fight off that particular illness. Okay, hold on. She was in a coma for 3 months. Yep, that's not good. Okay, they shut down their trials because the vaccine was causing them to temporarily test positive for HIV. They weren't infected, but the vaccine had proteins that created antibodies related to HIV. Exactly, because when you play God sometimes and you don't know fully what you're doing, these types of things happen. And they understand.
Well, with any vaccine, no matter what it is, anytime any shot, any kind of shot you ever get.
Where you in? All right, go ahead.
Huh? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just talking to H2. I've been looking for it. Okay.
Oh, I was going to say that anytime you do any type of vaccine shot, whatever, there's always a chance. That's why when you sit in the doctor's office and you get when my kids were vaccinated for measles and mumps and things like that, we still had to wait in the waiting room for 15 to 20 minutes to make sure that there's not a side effect. Because just because my body takes that flu shot 1 year, I was in the Army, we were forced to take the flu shot. 1 year, the flu shot made me sicker than a dog. The next year, it didn't bother me at all. And the next year, I got sick again. So there's no real way to know that you're not going to get sick and this person over here is going to be okay. It's a chance that you're going to take anyway.
And remember the issue that they had when they were trying to do the third set of trials to get the vast number of people from different ethnicities. There was not a lot of African Americans saying, I'll do it. So keep in mind, you have to consider how many people of color have actually been tested with said vaccine. And yes, it's 95% effective, as these particular 2 are, but what percentage of that was African American people or people of color? What percentage was women? Remember, most of these vaccines have not even been thought about being tested on children. Some of them have been, but there have been older children. As far as younger children go, there have not been any real test on that. Okay.
Well, in the reality of how they treat things, if you think about it, though, I mean, I got some friends of mine that are in Texas and that are in the medical field, and they were saying that they were offering for the trial, they were offering the black people, they were offering them like $1,200 to get this, but the white people were getting offered in the same trial, were getting offered $2,000 and $3,000. I don't doubt.
Huh? So
Oh no, I know it to be true
yeah,
because I trust who my sources are as far as being who they are, and because one of the girls was even offered $495 to take the vaccine to be a part of the trial. She's like, why am I gonna offer myself for $495 when you giving somebody else 1,000 and something and somebody else 2,000 and something, depending on where they were going to get where the trial was running from, where it was coming out of. So people. I'm not trying to be funny, but I wasn't going to just offer myself up for it when you ain't going to pay me. And if I die, then you ain't going to pay my family or take
right.
care of my offspring or something. So, and even though you say, okay, it's for the better good and things like that, is it?
Right. Okay.
Depending on who's looking at it.
Me just saying, see me when the data supports us. Exactly.
There you go. That's
Hey,
right.
Marion Jones. Hey, what's going on? Nobody wants that again. I'm glad you brought that up, Nikki. Now, see, here's the thing. That's basically what most people that have any type of learned knowledge bring up when they talk about vaccine and these experimentations, the Tuskegee. Now, the thing is, I know because you smart people, you and Meech, and most of the rest of the audience, y'all know what that consisted of. But basic person, they just going off what they didn't heard other people say. And as far as common knowledge is okay, they experimented on black people in Tuskegee. No, it was deeper than that. They were giving people deadly diseases in Tuskegee, and the Tuskegee experiment is one of several involving people of color. They experimented on African American women who were pregnant. They experimented on people from straight off the boat. They basically used them as guinea pig test dummies when they were checking out the effects of how anesthesia and that type of stuff worked. The people they would get to volunteer were people of color, whether they wanted to or not. That's why people who are in our culture are very leery of things like this, because they feel like we are the ones they always want to test on. But see, keep in mind, I also think of the financial ramifications. Remember, most of us that's out here, that's without a job right now, we work in the service industries. We work like at restaurants and hotels and things of that nature. We basically do the jobs that our white counterparts tend to not to want to do. And right now, they are in a situation where they can't be comfortable because we not at work. They need us to take the vaccine so we can get back to work and they can get back to their comfort zone. In the cases of some of them, I do believe that to be the case. That's why we got to do it. And see, I must admit, I understand the logic behind it, but in the same token, it's kind of BS. The fact that they are now encouraging our leaders, and I'm saying our leaders as in the Obamas and the Oprahs and peoples of the world, to basically go ahead and roll up their sleeve on live TV and take the vaccine, so that will encourage us people, as if we don't have no mind of our own, to take said vaccine. They're also encouraging, the Bidens and people of that nature to take the vaccine. Of course, Biden has said once Dr. Fauci says that it is safe, I will do so. And I trust he will probably do that sometime next 7 days. Dr. Fauci as well, because, he's a big component on taking the vaccine and trusting the numbers and whatnot. And I understand all that. And I get all that. And me, myself, at this point, I'm not telling y'all like most of y'all, I'm definitely not taking it. There's reasons why I have to seriously consider it. Some of y'all know my personal business. Some of y'all don't. So you know why I feel that way. But if it was just up to me and based on that and what I've seen and what I've learned about vaccines, I'm hard pressed to do it at this point. I need to see what happens with these first 20, 30 million people and go from there. And see, since I'm at that place in the line, I have that opportunity, because it's not supposed to be available to me to sometime in April. By that time, we have 4 months of study cases to work on. But see, the thing is, y'all got to remember out here, the news going to report the bad over the good. So if somebody fall dead of the vaccine, or somebody develop facial tics, or grab a tail or a horn, yeah, that's going to be on the news big time. And that's going to be everybody like, nope, y'all got me on that one. And of course, now they're trying to figure out the legal ramifications of, can you make people or mandate people to take it? Can people use religious reasons as to not to take it? Things of that nature. All those things are going to get worked out in the next few months. So that's going to add to the complication. Now, the one thing is, out of these 6 vaccines, the one from Johnson & Johnson is supposed to be 1 dosage, okay? And that's the one I myself am rooting on, because if I got to take it, I want to get it over with. I don't want to take the first round and then go back 3 or 4 weeks later, depending on whatever the vaccine is, and take the booster shot. Because you already know, if you take that first shot and you get to feeling like total crap, and keep in mind, according to some of the side effects, you should feel a little ugly about it, because you might get a slight fever or get soreness in your arm or whatnot. And according to the people that know better, they say that shows signs that it's working in your body. But other people not gonna look at it that way. They're gonna be like, see, something ain't right. I'm feeling crazy, arm itching, I'm all hot and stuff. See, they didn't gave it to me. And let's not even get to the whole conspiracy theory side of it, about all the people that's talking about, nope, when they give me that vaccine, they're gonna stick me with that nano chip, and then they're gonna give me the mark of the beast and all that other stuff. So then there's that as well. Okay, hold on. I don't give a damn stuff, until they give us accurate data of the side effects. I'm not doing it. Okay, hold on. Demetri says, this is a scandal. I do not want to be an unsolicited martyr for the greater good of my country. We are so money hungry and power driven and hungry that humanity is always a casualty of war. God complex. Save me.
That's me. That's me. That's me. That's right.
That's my dad.
Okay. That's the way I feel, Meech. I feel the same way.
Yep. My dad brought us that. Look, start over. My dad brought up that some vaccines are manufactured using blood products, leaving millions of Jehovah's Witnesses unable to take them. According to my aunt, who's a Jehovah's Witness, she says, no, they saying they're not taking it, period. I don't think it will, Eric, because just like military stuff, if they don't want us to know, we won't know. And as a former longtime military wife, I know what they do. Are you not military, Dr. Facey? You know we got.
I am. I'm retired. I'm retired military.
My father was a military. My uncle was a military.
Yeah.
Bottom line, Nikki, facts. Yes, Big Meech. Period, boo. Demetrius Taylor, say it, Meech. You better say it, Meech. Keep it real. So, yeah, we have all those things to consider. Bottom line, folks, I'm not going to sit here and tell you take it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not take it. I'm going to tell you what I always tell y'all. Do the research. Find
Seek
out
the Lord.
And when all else fail, that's right. Talk to the big council in the sky. Because bottom line, CDC got reports. You can go to Pfizer's page. You can go to AstraZeneca's page. You can go to Moderna's page. They got all these things. And based on what you see, you make your decision and go from there. Because bottom line is more people than not are going to get the vaccine. In the end, those of us who didn't get it, we're going to get dealt with one way or another. And we got to consider that possibility as well. So that being said, folks, hold on. My dad was in the Army. So was mine, Amy. So was mine. Okay. That being said, that is that for the vaccine. People are getting stuck every day now. If you know somebody who's getting the vaccine, who's getting it tested on themselves, by all means, check in with them. See how they're feeling. See what type of side effects they have. Best thing for us is word of mouth. Bottom line, if I end up taking it one day before any of y'all do, or if you don't, I'll let you know, and I'm going to keep you informed every day. I'm going to keep a journal and be on YouTube every day. Day 1, I feel great. Day 5, my eyeball almost popped out at 4 o'clock. Don't take it, y'all. They're trying to kill us. 14, I'm fine. I'm about to go on out here. And bottom line, until we figure out what's going on, herd immunity, whatever the hell, this still part of your clothing, okay? You still need to wear one for the foreseeable future. And purchase more than one, and purchase more than one good one. Here in Michigan, there are several sites available now where you can go get a mask for free. Please, if you need to do that here in Michigan, do that. If you claim you can't make one or buy one for $2.99 or whatever, they got so many different deals on Amazon for masks. Y'all better handle that. Anyway, hey, Nisi, please do by all means. Absolutely. Okay, so now we are going to take another commercial break, and then we're going to talk about a very serious topic, folks, because y'all know it's that time of year and people out here hurting, and some of y'all might need some help, and we're going to try to help you out. So
Amen.
we will do that, and we will be back after a word from these. This is the Nighthawk Network. Our voices for our people. Nighthawk Network. All right, there we go. And we are back. Welcome back, y'all, to Get Off My Lawn Live. I am here with my co-host for the evening, Dr. Marla Facey. And right now we're about to get into a very delicate subject. So delicate, in fact, we have to discuss it delicately because certain buzzwords will bonk off on the Facebook or the YouTube, and they will probably try to zap the program without having a full understanding of what we're really trying to do here. Right now, I like to talk about some serious issues from time to time. This is one of them. Basically, right now, it's that time of year. We are in the middle of a pandemic. We are near the end of the year. Many of us have lost loved ones. We have lost our jobs. We have lost our income. We have lost our cars, our homes, or are in a very good possibility that might happen, particularly if the government don't handle their proper business. So it's putting us in a bad state of mind. It's causing us to be depressed and other things. And right now, my concern is with you people who feel like that. I myself do suffer from bouts of depression from time to time. I've come to deal with it a lot better because I like to think of things a little differently than I have in the past. My depression got me to a point early on in my life where I considered taking the most drastic step. I will not mention what said step is because, again, like I said, that is a trigger word that triggers off on Facebook and YouTube, and it leads them to think we're talking the opposite of what we're talking about. But we're basically saying that I consider ending my existence. And because of that, I basically got to a point where I just saw no point of anything. Fortunately for me, I did not do that. The Lord was with me that day as I was attempting to do said thing, and I found a way out of it. And I've never been back to that place. However, during the course of my life since then, I've talked to several people who have found themselves in that place and actually was blessed enough to be able to talk a few of them out of it. One such person I talked to a couple days ago, and they're doing great. They're doing way better than they ever could imagine. And I know part of the success of that person was the fact that God gave me the ability at that moment to give them a reason to understand life was more than what they saw at that moment. So I kind of want to do that with you guys as well. Keep in mind, this is just a moment in our time, okay? We are in a point where stuff can't get much worse, okay? I'm gonna sincerely hope and pray that we don't find ourselves 5, 10 years later in the midst of another serious pandemic. So, in terms of that, we can't get much worse than this. And keep in mind, there is a vaccine and it will make things better. We sincerely hope. So that there will soon be a day where we can start going back outside and mingling with one another and living our normal lives to some degree. And at that point, then we could work on some of the things that are not so good with us now. People, things do get better, but we have to give it time, okay? We have to understand that in this point in time in our life, it's just one moment. Life is a marathon, not a sprint, people. We have to remember that. We do not know the future. None of us do. We claim to, we may have some inkling, we may be given some premonitions thereof, but in terms of we can sit down and be like, okay, 10 years from now, on such and such date, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. We don't have it like that. If we do, and you truly do, I need to have a talk with you. Maybe I don't, because I kind of don't want to know my future like that. But you know what I'm saying? There are people who are hurting, and we have messages for you. We want you to work through it, and we also want to help where we can and offer you help as well. That being said, I will turn it over to Dr. Facey and let her give you some words of encouragement and her thoughts on this subject.
Good evening. And this is a tough subject. My father took his own life when I was 10 years old. So I've walked through this as a child of this situation. When I was in high school, someone that I know dearly also did the same thing. So I've dealt with this a couple of times in my life, as well as had those thoughts sometimes myself. So the fact is that no one can truly understand the depth of someone else's suffering or the reasons that could drive a soul to such depression or to such desperation. Only God knows what is in a person's actual heart. And I'm not trying, I don't want to just throw God off on everybody. I don't know how anybody particularly feels personally, but I am a minister of the gospel. So I can only tell you that side of it when it comes to that portion. Okay. So, but only the Lord knows the extent of pain which each person may be suffering, and they can bring that person to and only God can stop that person from coming to the point of actually taking their own life. And so the Bible treats this, and we're going to get into the social normal everyday stuff, but I'm going to talk to you about the word of God with this right now. The Bible treats life as a divine gift. That is what we are given every day that we wake up and we breathe, and something humans are to value. Our lives are to be valued and respected, and no human has the right really to take his or her own life or the life of anybody else. But we know that taking one's life is a terrible, terrible tragedy. And you know, in biblical terms, it is a sin, but it does not negate the Lord's act of redemption. So I want you all to understand that our salvation rests securely in the finished work of Jesus Christ on the cross. The Bible affirms everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. So stay encouraged. Stay encouraged during these times. Sometimes people, you know, they'll attempt to keep up appearances and they can handle their own struggles on their own. People will pretend to be in front of you as though nothing is wrong. Sometimes that happens and people go, man, I didn't even know, because they acted the same every day, you know. And then there's the other side of it where they're in such a deep depression, you know. So we sometimes don't know when that person is at that wit's end. We don't feel like we can ask for help. That's what a lot of people have a problem with. They don't feel like they can ask for help because of pride. You got to understand, pride comes in. And pride comes before the fall. It comes before the actual fall and before the actual person makes that decision. So, but we got to understand that there's anxiety. Anxiety is escalating in our culture because of what's going on all around us. According to the recent surveys, more Americans than ever before are stressed, they're depressed, they're anxiety ridden, and nearly 40 million people in the United States, which is 18% of our people, experience an anxiety disorder in any given year. In any given year, anxiety disorders are something, and I am a doctorate. I have my doctorate on Christian counseling, and also I am a student of the Bible. You see what I'm saying? I am a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, okay? But so I have to tell you on both sides, but I am not a psychiatrist, doctor. I don't have my license in psychiatry because I am not able to give medications out for a problem. So if you fall into a situation where you need that type of help, please go get the proper help. It's important. It's important. Anxiety disorders are so common and pervasive of mental disorders in America. There is a direct link between anxiety and opioid use as well. So there's a lot of things that go on, and we sometimes we get the medication for things, and we don't use medication correctly. You know, some people say, well, I feel good today, and the doctor has subscribed you something to have, and you say, no, I feel good today, so I'm not going to take it. And next thing you know, the enemy, because that's what it is, the enemy will talk to you and say, you know what, you don't need the medication, you don't need this, and you don't need that. And then next thing you know, you are in a situation where you feel like you need to take your own life, you are or the life of somebody else. Okay, let's just be real. There is a direct, so we know that there is a direct link. Those suffering from anxiety are 2 or 3 times more likely to have an alcohol or an other substance abuse disorder. They usually go hand in hand to some degree, because anxiety is linked to heart disease, it's linked to chronic respiratory disease, it's linked to gastrointestinal diseases, and numerous studies have related anxiety directly to taking one's life. So right there, that leaves a big, wide arena of things that cause people to lose hope, because that's what it ends up being. You lose all hope. But I can tell you that if you keep your hope in Christ, the solid rock, you know, sometimes I wish I could just go back in time and really be able to minister to people that don't have that hope, that don't have that hope, because hope is what you got to keep. You got to keep hope, just like I think Jesse Jackson said, keep hope alive. We got to keep it alive for us to stay alive. So y'all know there's many studies that have related anxiety directly to taking your life. So compared to those without anxiety, patients with anxiety that have that disorder were more likely to have those in those situations. They usually try to attempt it, and sometimes they complete it, or they'll have those taking one's life. I keep wanting this, taking one's life's activities. They'll practice things like, oh, if I learn to cut this way, or if I learn, they'll do things, and you'll see those things. They're practicing them. They're practicing them. How would I feel? How would it feel? And what will I need to do if I go and take my life? How would my family, they go through all those cycles in their head a lot of times. And these were the facts even before the pandemic. These were things that was going on before the pandemic. So you know that once we have the pandemic, that it is challenging, and it's challenging millions of Americans who face mental health issues, because it is a mental health issue. It really is. I mean, people can look and say, well, I ain't got nothing wrong with me. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm just having a bad day. I'm having a bad day, and but there is something wrong. And until you're willing to either get spiritual help or go back and get psychological help, you need to get the help.
Okay, I want
You
you
need
to
to get
address
the
a
help.
couple of these comments right here. Nikki saying, well, being in the mental health profession for over 20 years, opiates are not supposed to be described for anxiety or depression. Opiates are
They're
for
not.
relief, period. She also says, well, I have anxiety and depression. I have never abused any drugs or alcohol. Same here.
Right. And that's why it doesn't say everybody.
Right, because like I
It
said,
definitely
man, I would say what I usually say in that, Nikki. We are the exceptions, not the rule. A lot of people who do find themselves in that headspace tend to try to find comfort in the bottle of a bottle or pill bottle. We all
yeah.
have heard such stories. We know
And
people.
if you and Nikki, if you, because you have been able to go through these situations and not get use of drugs or alcohol, you are you are a minute, you know what I'm saying, you're a minute amount of persons that do that, because for the most part that is what is correlated and connected. But you are correct. I mean, I never used drugs and alcohol either, and still face the same things.
I
And
mean,
my father,
take for
you know,
example, out of all the people that we know that tend to smoke marijuana or drink on a regular basis, when you may ask them or they tell you why do they drink, several people in terms of that be like, I'm just being social. This is just what I do to relax or whatnot. But oftentimes there are people who will tell you, yeah, I just try to, forget. I'm trying to get out of my head.
mhm.
I'm trying to find some way to calm down, those types of things. And like I said,
Right.
the thing is, if you're already in a bad state of mind and then you add that to the mix, that helps to sometimes take your thoughts that much farther over the edge. I think
And remember
trying to get
that's exactly correct. That's exactly correct, because you remember when I stated that that we basically don't understand the depth of someone else's suffering. What you go through with having anxiety and depression may not be what that next person goes through, and we don't know where their boiling point is, or their point where they're actually going to make that kind of decision. So
right.
really, if you're blessed enough, were you able to go to God or go to a doctor or go, those types of things, then so be it. But there are so many people out there that are unwilling or unable to actually get that proper help. So but we know that 1 in 4 young adults said that they had considered taking their own life in just last month because of because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's roughly 30.9% of respondents said that they had experienced symptoms of anxiety and depression. That's actually a lot. That's actually a lot. So
Right.
that tells us that it's a big problem
Right.
probably worldwide, but in the United States, it's a very big problem.
I get concerned for a lot of our frontline workers that's going to work every day, and every day they go, they see somebody pass. It starts to get into your mind at some point. It got to. They didn't show the report of them breaking down on the verge of tears. You can see the pain and the sorrow, the tiredness in their face as they talk about, I just don't understand why people don't get it. People dying every day. This is real. Okay, Amy said, I've been in recovery for alcohol for a long time. Anxiety and depression are my shitty roommates that won't move out. Understood, Amy. We're so I think that the isolation is part of the anxiety. And that's another very key point about that. A lot of us that's out here on our own or just with a person or two, and that's all we've seen for months and months at a time. And you're used to being social, those affect your thought process as well. My neighbor in the house. What up? What up?
And
Some people think if they seek help, it makes them crazy, and that's not true. Absolutely.
Right.
I myself have had a time where I was seeking counseling and I went to get help, and there's no shame and there's nothing wrong in that. If that's what it takes for you to get to a point where you are in a better peace of mind, so be it. So whether you are a person who believes in God or Allah or what have you, there are things that you can do to find peace, whether it's to read your Bible or talk to your pastor or talk to whoever's in charge of your church or religious organization. That's one way. there's people who are specialized in having these discussions. That's another way. Go ahead, cousin.
That I was looking at Amy's next comment, and she's so correct on that.
Mental illness needs to be treated the same as medical crisis instead of a moral failing. Absolutely.
Right. It's not a moral failing at all. It's really not a moral failing. It is something that has happened. Well, a lot of times, okay, when I look at it on the spiritual side, when a person doesn't have faith, I'll say it like that, have faith in a higher power. I'm going to say it like that, even though I believe in God, as my highest power, as the higher power or the highest power. Absolutely. But so we're gonna so to keep everybody on the clean and up on that, we're gonna say when you have faith in the higher power, you are less likely to fall into that category where you're less likely. I'm not saying you're not going to do it, but you're less likely because you have something to hold on to hope for. You have something to intervene with. You have something that you can go to. But there's 8 times as likely to there's been surveys that have been found that just like I was talking about the participants and stuff in the vaccination, there's participants also in these kind of studies, but they're 8 times as likely to screen positive for serious mental illnesses as participants in similar things that happened surveys that happened 2 years ago, just because of what's going on with COVID. That's why we got to understand how important it is to get COVID under, get it put back in that box it was in. You know what I'm saying? But as a woman of God and a Christian counselor, I'm not qualified to offer medical advice or professional therapeutic counseling to those suffering from anxiety and depression. I need everybody to understand that. But I can offer biblical insight on the painful issues of taking one's life. And so I was going to say to look at a few issues through the lens of the scriptures, and I'm not going to make this a Bible study, definitely not going to do that. But I want you guys to understand that the scope of the issues, more people die from taking their life than homicide in America right now. And according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, even as far back as in 2016, the roles of this situation, I hate to keep saying it like that, this situation rose almost 34%. That is high for it to rise that quick. So it is a serious problem. And this also rates have grown exponentially, or however you say that word, for women, for women. And we, if you want to talk about white women, middle-aged men, they account for 70% of the suicide stuff going on, taking one's life. But, but when you think about it, factors that contribute to it, we got to deal with the factors that contribute to it, and relationship problems. Many people are dealing in situations where they need to tell bozo and bozoette to get to stepping. They stay in relationships and have bad relationship problems that end up causing that person to want to give up all the way. If you in a situation in a relationship problem where there's, i.e., abuse, sexual, mental, physical, whatever, you gotta start cleaning house. Get rid of those problems, because until then, it's gonna cause you to go deeper in that whirlwind down.
Okay.
A crisis. Go ahead.
Let me let you address a couple of these comments. Okay. Yes,
I'm sorry.
You helped me a lot. Yep, me too. Okay. Very interesting. I'm enjoying. Thanks, Gloria. We appreciate it. Okay, now here we go. I might have to finish the rest of this on the book, but I see the whole comment. Okay, I have a chronic illness where they told me I wasn't going to have children. I have 5 biological. They said I wouldn't make it to 40. I'm 50. And no disrespect, I have an awesome relationship with the Most High and always have. Am I not? And I am not, nor have I ever been a Christian. So I would rather say yes, your relationship with God is very important. However, I will continue to say a person's faith with God is their relationship. And I do take some offense when it appears that people say it is only their way to God. I disagree. God told us in Exodus that he would spread us to the four corners of the earth. So I don't believe he meant for us to all get back to him the same way. This can discourage a lot of people.
Okay, I'm not in no argument one way or another about that, Miss Nikki. Because my thing is not, like I said, this is not turning into a Bible discussion. I'm basically just saying, that is it, like I said, to anybody that has a higher power. I realize that I'm not on a Christian, I'm not in a Christian situation, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, even though that's what I am, I'm a minister, and I'm not gonna say I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
And you, just like you respected that, I respect you as well. But I'm just saying, when we're talking to the masses, somebody has to have some type of hope to hold on to. And it's really like, I'm not testing you on what you believe, because that's at this, you already are making it. You've done actually, you know what I'm saying? You've overcame those problems and those situations. So we're talking to people right now that are in the midst, that are dealing with this. And so my hat goes off to you. I thank God that you have overcome in that area. But there are those that are on the brink right now. They're on the bridge right now. And so if I can't offer anything, and I do understand that the four corners of the earth, and everybody's not going to get back to him the same way. But I'm not gonna dispute the word of God right now, because this isn't what we're talking about. But we are talking about why people take their lives. And it all comes down to not having a relationship with whomever they choose to be their higher power. They need a relationship where they are able to experience that love, where they don't feel like that they're worthless, because that's where people start losing hope. They feel worthless. And we want people to feel the love coming from their family, their friends. But in my case, I would say the love coming from God, and his love for me. So I hope I, didn't step on no toes or anything, but that's how I feel.
I always encourage people to get their comments, whether they agree or disagree.
Right, right.
We're not just here to kiss everybody's booty and whatnot. Sometimes we're gonna disagree, but we want
Amen.
different opinions and views in the room. That's how we gain understanding. That's how we get to a common place. Okay. And there's no moral failing in being afflicted by mental illness or addiction. To piggyback off Nikki, faith-based recovery fails because it preaches abstinence and God as the only answer to addiction. While it works for many people who are open to faith-based recovery, others need lifestyle training, redirection, medical detox, etc.
I agree. I agree 100%, because I mean, and I actually even said that before. If you can't go to those, if you're not going to go to the Christian based side of it, then you go get professional help from psychiatrists and psychologists and counselors and all that type of stuff. That's not biblically based. You want to get the whole situation is go get help. I don't care if you get it from, hog maw on the floor. If he can help you up where you're not all the way down to the ground, then get it. That's the whole point.
The point that I want to make, because like I said, there are people, they are atheists, they are people believe in Buddha,
that's right.
The Greek gods, whatever the case may be. If you believe in a higher power, that is one thing. But some people, they believe in nothing at all. They see themselves as being completely alone. They don't see anybody being in their corner. These are the people that I really want to talk to right now, because I need them to understand you are not alone in this world.
You're not alone.
People here in this world, and the fact that you woke up this morning and your eyes open, and whether you were healthy enough to walk out the bed or you was just able to just open your eyes and sit there, that means you were meant to serve a purpose to someone today, and you don't know your complete purpose here in this world.
Amen.
So whether you feel like whoever put you here, do know that you open to see another day, then that meant you were meant to do something with that part of your life. Keep in mind, it may be that one moment in time that you meet with that one person that you may never see on planet Earth again. And those 2 or 3 words of kindness or anger even may be the very thing that sparks them to do something great or to do something that helps someone else, you don't know that. You don't know. Like I said, when we come to this world, we don't come with an instruction manual. We don't come with a script saying, okay, you're to do this, this, and this. These are things that we work out over the course of our lifetime. If we are here right now, it's because we are meant to serve purpose. Like I said, when this whole pandemic began, I could not sit here and tell you on December 15th, 10:34 p.m. that this is where I would be, having people have these forums and work with one another and develop a Nighthawk network and all these other things. That's a purpose. I couldn't definitely not see that fateful day in that room upstairs in the studio where I considered such things. But for some reason, whether you say it's God or whatnot, I made the right choice and chose to continue on. And I want everybody else to continue on. I want them to know that there are ways to work this out. You have to consider that everything can't be dealt with at once.
Right.
We don't get fat overnight. We don't grow up to be adults overnight. All these problems don't happen overnight. These things happen in time. And so if the problem took time to happen, the solution in turn will take time to happen. What I encourage you to do is, if you having some type of physical ailment or whatnot, and that's caused you to start to have these things that lead you to believe, okay, maybe now I'm not going to be able to do this. There was a point in time in my life I could barely walk. I would get up in pain. I would go to bed in pain. I would be in pain the entire day. I would go through Advil, bottles of them every month just to get through my day. It was hell. It really was. But I found my way through. I myself feel like God saw me through. But in the same token, if you don't believe in God, you believe in your higher power to be a different name, you believe in how you got here to be created to be something different. If that's what helps you get through the day, so be it. My whole thing is find your peace. Find your peace and make peace. Do not get to a point to where you get so far down, you can no longer see the forest for the trees. Every day is a blessing. Because remember, there's many people who wish they were still here. They would gladly, if they could, take your place right now and be back here walking among us. They would gladly have not been people who were here for just a few days or for a few years and could have lived their whole life out. So I feel like we disrespect our ancestors, the people that came before us, if we make that ultimate choice. We don't honor them by saying, okay, well, you made some junk and that's that, and I'm about to exit stage right. Because yeah, granted, we don't know what the afterlife is. We have our understandings based on if you believe in the Bible, the Quran, or whatever the case may be. But in the end, there's very few people that came back and gave us a full report, okay? So bottom line is we here and we need to serve our purpose, whether we know it to be at that moment or we learn it as time goes on or what have you. It's not the proper choice, I feel, for you to take that ultimate decision and go there. You will thank me when, if you are to that point, you have this conversation or this leads you to have this discussion with whoever you talk to and you determine, Eric's right. We need to look at this a little different. I could work this out. And in the end, yes, some of the things you want to work out, quite frankly, they're not going to work out in your favor or the way you think they should. The world works like that sometimes. You're not always going to get your way. But in the same token, the world is here. We are in it. And while we are here, we are meant to serve a purpose, whether it is something that causes a legacy that lasts lifetimes and generations, or if you're just here for a reason and a season. That purpose is to be served. So when you wake up every day, be thankful and find purpose in your life. Look at the world from the standpoint of, okay, yeah, I got some problems right now, but we're going to work them out. As I sit here talking to y'all, at one point this year, I had 2 jobs. I had 3 sources of income. I had a car. I was working on the second one. And all that went away in the matter of a few weeks. I could have been like, that's it, I'm done. But no, I am determined, more so than ever before, to get on the better side of this. And one of the wisest things I thought during that early time was that, you know what? I'm going to start looking at this as somewhat of a blessing. Because in the end, when I walk out this door and go back to working on a regular basis and get my life back in order, I want to be a better person than I was going in it. Another reason why a lot of people get to that point is because they let their thoughts consume them. A lot of us like to stay busy. We like to keep things moving, and you don't always feel like you can do that once you confine to the household. But there's so many different things that we have available. If you're sitting here hearing the sound of my voice right now, that means that you have access to a phone or internet or a tablet. You can do what I like to do. You can research, you can read, you can look at movies, you can basically sit down and figure out how you gonna dig yourself out this hole. And if you need help with that, there are people like myself, like Dr. Facey, that are here to help you. If we don't offer the type of help that you need, there are other people out here. And like I said, some are just a phone call away or a Google search away. I encourage you to look to find those answers and get that help that you need to get your life back on the right side of the cycle. Because in the end, when you get out of it and you start to see the light again, you start to see a better road, you're going to be so thankful that in this moment we came to you and had this discussion. Now, keep in mind, we are just offering help from our standpoint. If you need other help, for example, if you're having an issue with being abused, there's the number for the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. I encourage you to go there if you feel you need to go there. We also have the number here for the prevention hotline if you feel like you need help in that way. And if those two things don't help and you just want to kind of pull us aside or hit our DMs or whatnot after the fact, by all means, feel free. Right now, I'm not working. This is my work. I'm here to help educate the people and learn from you as well. So while I'm here in this space, if I can help you, by all means, reach out to me and I will do everything I can to know to help. Okay, we got some comments here, cuz.
Yes.
Amy, great to see you again, Amy. Have a good night. Yeah, Amy has to go. Okay, Eric, I'm grateful that you made the decision to stay so long ago. You had a lot to give to work. Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate that. So true. Thank you, neighbor. Okay, that's right, Eric. That is what keeps me going. I am an ancestor's wildest dream. Amen. Amen. Okay, Nikki says, but what you just said can make someone feel crazy because God is God no matter what people call him. So when we say things like your God, that's inflammatory. It's not your God or my God. God is God. We may worship different or call him different names. He is the Most High. And dealing with mental illness, we do have to and watch how we put things when we speak to the masses. It is what I'm saying. I understand that. Like I said, some people believe differently than I or Dr. Facey. I get that. My whole thing is there are people who believe in a higher power. There are people who have different religious beliefs. Again, we're not trying to make this per se a religious discussion. We basically want to discuss with people that we need to be in a place where we find purpose in our life. We find meaning, we find understanding. If God or the Bible or the Quran or whatever it is helps to bring you to that purpose, I am for it. Bottom line is I am for you living your life. I am for you living your best life. How you choose to live that life, what qualities and what have you, that is for you to determine. That's your journey to have. What I'm saying is I don't want you to be in a place where you feel like you have no further purpose, you have no meaning, there's nothing. And the only alternative is to end it all. That's what I'm trying to get out of this discussion. Like I said, I'm not make this a biblical discussion or not. We believe differently. Like I said, we're not going to agree on everything, every understanding. We will agree to disagree with certain things. That is quite all right and understandable. We still family. We still love each other. Y'all still Nighthawk Network. Y'all still the village. And I get that. But in the same token, the whole thing is we don't want to see nobody on the news tomorrow and they gone because they just left here and we didn't take the opportunity to have this discussion with them. That's the thing I'm trying to get out of this part of the conversation. There is better ways to deal with it than just saying the hell with it.
Amen. And the other thing I was going to share with y'all is that, you know, I talked about the relationship issues, but we're dealing with crisis in the past and upcoming in the in the upcoming couple of weeks, we're also dealing with there's problematic substance abuse. We talked about that. There's physical health problems. I remember back a few years ago when I broke my neck in 2 places, my back in 3 places when I was in the Army. And those physical problems that I had, I wasn't able to walk, I wasn't able to feed my own self, I couldn't wipe my own behind, all those types of things. That made me think of those issues, you know what I'm saying? So we got people that are dealing with physical pain, and physical pain can cause you to lose hope, because the first thing, what does a person say a lot of times when they lose hope? I'm tired of living like this, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. We want to get to the point where when you feel that rising up, when you feel that hurt and that pain and that loss of just being able to do things for yourself, or whatever the case is, that you know that you need to call someone. You know, I do believe in the religion side of it. I believe in the spiritual side. I believe in God and God Almighty. But I'm not telling people that don't believe in God who to call on. You know, I'm telling them call somebody. Just like Eric said, we do not want to get a phone call saying somebody, you know, did this to themselves last night, or somebody didn't make it through because they didn't do, you know, that's the main thing. Then we got, like he said, the jobs and the financial issues. They are becoming, Lord Jesus, help us. They are becoming so difficult because people are getting thrown out of their homes. They're having to live in their cars. You know, those types of people, those types of situations will cause a person to feel hopeless, hopeless, hopeless. And we have to shout it out loud from the rooftop. Get help. Try to get someone to listen to you. Call on a neighbor, call on a friend, call on somebody somewhere. Go to shelters, call 911. Do something. Don't lose all hope and take your own life. It's not worth it, because there's a brighter day. There is a light at the end of every tunnel.
Absolutely.
Every tunnel. And life is just what it is. There's valley times, and then there's hilltop times. And just as soon as you get through that valley, there's the hilltop. That means you're going to be climbing, which means that I'm climbing up the rough side of the mountain. I'm going to get on top of it at some point. So without it sounding that spiritual, we have to understand that we need to ask for help. We need to ask for help. Asking for help does not mean you're weak. It does not mean you're crazy. It does not mean that you're ignorant or anything like that. But you know what? Not asking for help, not getting the proper help makes you selfish. It makes you selfish, because we have to look at the ramifications of when a person decides to take their life, who all it affects. It does not just affect that one person. It affects a whole family. Yeah. I still deal with the fact that my father killed himself 30 years ago or more, because I still miss the fact that he didn't get to see any of my kids being born. He didn't walk me down the aisle. He didn't do just all kinds of stuff that always comes up. It is a void that you leave your people that love you. You can't feel so, I'm not gonna say you can't. Please don't feel so down that you go into a depression and a state of mind where thinking nobody loves you and nobody wants you. Because you may not know, or you may not understand, if you can count 5 people on your hand that love you, 5 people on your hand that don't want to come to a funeral, you know what I'm saying? Then you've got something more than somebody that has nothing. So just consider that those situations come. Sometimes you're hiding and you're running from criminal activity and you're having legal difficulties. That can make somebody lose their mind when they're taking everything from you because you're trying to pay a lawyer bill or this bill or that bill, or your house is being taken because you're losing it because you can't, whether it's COVID or just you lost a job or whatever the case. Those times are times of desperation. And whether you want to call on the Lord or call on Joe Blow up the street, you got to call somebody. That's all we're really sharing tonight, is get the help you need. Because if you wait and you wait too late, and then sometimes you can't even come up from that situation, and I realized if I was on a total spiritual show, I have a whole lesson plan for this, but because I'm not, I know that I got to keep it in a certain realm. But coming from the side where I'm saying it does not matter about, well, I don't even, I can't say that it doesn't matter about God. I can't even say that, but I'm going to say that it does not matter whether you are trying to seek him or not seek him. Seek getting the proper help, whether it's from the psychological, psychiatric type of help, or whether it's from a spiritual counseling type of help, or a pastor, or a first, first lady, a elder, somebody in the church, a friend in the church. Everybody don't have to have no spiritual title to help you.
Right.
You know, they don't. They don't.
Let me just some comments. Right, Nikki saying, right, I'm just coming from a mental health worker view. I do know words can be triggers. So when we have these discussions, I think of the advocate in me. That's all I meant. And Helene, that's fine. She's also saying, I am not exempt from that. If anyone has ever had a sickle cell full pain crisis where I did want to die, so trust me, I get it. I have been at the low points lately, so trust me, I get it. Absolutely.
Amen.
We've discussed.
Amen, Nikki.
I get that. And please don't think I'm saying we shouldn't talk about God. Just us as the Nighthawk Network to reach everyone. That's what I meant. Because we want to be inclusive, and we don't want to, have anybody feel like they can't be themselves or have a full discussion. Like I said, everything we talk about, we will not always agree upon. We understand that. But the thing is, we are people. We are here for each other, and we're here to learn from each other. Like I said, we're not here in a space where it's like, oh, they didn't went there. We all friends here. We all loved ones. We should not feel like that about any discussion we had. But let me say these things, and then I got to do my usual my spiel, and we'll go there and we'll call it a night. What I challenge everyone to do is this, because this has worked for me in terms of my depressed state sometimes and feeling kind of low. Try this and see if it works for you. Basically, what I try to do now is at least every day, there's one thing that happens that brings a smile to your face or gives you a little smirk or a laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tomorrow, when you get to that moment, think of this moment. And as opposed to where it might just be a moment in your day, put some full weight on that. Enjoy that moment fully. Make your smile bright. Make your laugh loud. Make yourself at that moment take a look at the rose. It's like, that was a good moment. Because part of what we do when we get in these depressed states, we take what's bothering us and it weighs on us heavy. We give it a lot of weight. As Nikki was saying earlier, our words are important, and what we say and how we say it in these spaces. So what I'm saying is, in that space, take that one good thing that day and celebrate it fully. Also, in your day, there's a point where you're able to do something that may benefit someone or benefit something. Do that as well and celebrate that also. And if you do that, and as you look back on your day, as I tend to do at the end of the day, what good did I do today? What good happened today? And I think about those two things and I work from there, things tend to start to get a little better after that. So I say, let's try that and let me know how it comes out for you. Give it a shot. As always, the main message we want to give at this point, if you need help, seek it out. If we can help you, we can steer you towards some help, whether you need to talk to professionals, whether it be doctors, lawyers, whatever the case may be, however the help that you need can be required. If we can help you find that, do so. If other people in our network can help each other with that, do that as well. But seek out that help. Don't get to that point where things get so bad where you decide that there is no alternative but to end the script, in the movie. It's still more movie to be had. And
that's right.
And like I said, I'm so thankful that day I came to that type of realization, because all the things that happened, the good, bad, and otherwise, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. So that being said, we're gonna take this last comment.
Amy, can I say one last thing?
Oh, yes, you can, and then we will go from there. Go ahead.
Okay, this is my last statement. Okay. And my statement is everyone is responsible for the life before God who has given it to him. If you have a life and it was given to you by God, that's that's the way I'm gonna say it. So it is God who remains the sovereign master of our life. It's not us. And we are obligated to accept life gratefully and preserve it at all cost. We preserve it because it is what God has given us. And we can talk about salvation for our souls and all of that, but we are stewards. We are stewards and we are not the owners of our body. We are not our own. We are not our own. And so because of that, the life God has entrusted, he's entrusted us our life to live, and it's not ours to dispose of. So please take in consideration what I'm saying, just so you don't be lost and that you live and live life as full as you possibly can.
All right. Okay, now I want to do two things here right quick, people. Okay, Nick, if you are still in the room, you are doing something special in regards to a project you're working on. Please put that information in the comments so I can explain it to the people. You know I'm talking about the raffle drive. Okay, meanwhile, Miss Facey, I need you to discuss what you're working because among other things, you are also a community activist working on things for the community, that being your sock drive. Please give us a quick breakdown of that, please, if you would.
Wow. Okay, y'all. Anybody that donated to the sock drive, thank you, thank you, thank you, first of all, because we reached 1,000, what was it, 12, actually 1,200 and some pair of socks. So God is good. God is so, I mean, well, okay. Yes, he's good. I was just so grateful because we were able to give out the socks to 4 different places. To a food pantry place that actually does a soup mobile kitchen, and they go out to the community and actually find homeless people, and they give them soup and feed them a hot meal and give them socks. So that was a blessing right there. Then we gave out we gave out 480 pair of socks to a men's homeless shelter up in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Then we gave out 500 and some pair of socks to another food pantry place that does the same thing, except they take the food to different shelters and feed those people, because I think because of COVID, they don't feed all of them inside the shelter, so they bring the food to them, and then so they do it. So some of the places are doing that, so they were able to do that with they also gave them socks, which they had women, men and children, families in that shelter. And then the last box, we took it to Life Skills, and Life Skills is a place where they deal with people that are needing help to get on their feet. So I'm as ecstatic. Our sock drive is officially over in 2 days. And so I said, if people want to still donate, I'll go out and buy socks at Walmart or somewhere, because it'd be too late for me to call to get to the warehouse and actually get them mailed to me like that. But I just thank God. And so we're now the next project I have is going to be helping one of my friends in the state of Colorado with a toy drive. And not just for Christmas toys, but just toys and things that, like, if you got not old, but you got little computer gadgets your kids may not be using, clean them up, give them to us so we can give them to kids that don't have it. They don't have to be brand new stuff. Just give what you don't need, or that you don't want, or even things if you want to go out and buy new things. But we want to do some type of drive like that, because even if you donate money, I can go out and find things like buy baby cribs and baby strollers and different things for the community of people that need those services. So God is good. I appreciate all your help, because it was wonderful. It was wonderful to be able to contribute to the community like that.
Absolutely. Keep going for a second, cuz I'm trying to do something.
Okay. Okay. And so we have that going on. Then I do Monumental Moments in God's Word on Thursday evenings. You can find me doing that. That's my podcast, and and I also do Facebook Live, Periscope. I'm on several things at one time. So I'm to God be the glory for that. Then I do a Zoom Bible study. We do Zoom Bible studies, and we're getting ready to do a couple of books. we're ready to do this book called Training for Service, and it's teaching people it's a Bible survey, 26 lesson Bible survey. So me and another lady are going to be teaching this book. And we're also going to get in with another friend of mine, get in this book called Unexpected. And it's a book on leaving fear behind, because a lot of things we get into is because we fear them. We fear a lot of things. And fear brings upon doubt, and it brings upon confusion. So that's my spiel for today. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody, and God bless each and every one of you.
You are very welcome. We appreciate you as well. Nikki says, "Oh, honey, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I may not care what religion you are, but no, if you tell me you don't believe in God, I'm getting the hell away from you." Because I think that expression goes, if you don't believe in nothing, you'll fall for anything. Yeah, that part.
There you go.
Okay. It won't let me put the lack. Okay, I'm gonna try to break it down here. There is a raffle that Nikki's organization is doing. It is a 50-50 raffle. And what happens is you can buy the tickets, and it's going to be an online raffle. And let me break it down as it's being said here, because I'm not explaining it well at all right now. Okay, you are put in for the raffle through, okay, let me post that much. You go to Cash App. You're going to put in the $ holiday 50-50. You can get 2 chances at the raffle. You get 1 chance for $2 in the raffle, and you get 3 chances for $5. You're going to send the money in the Cash App using the hashtag holiday 50-50. In the description, be sure to include your name and contact info. Otherwise, they don't know who sent it, and they don't know where to send it to. Okay, once your money has been received, you will receive a photo of your raffle ticket via text or email, depending on how you contact. The drawing will be held live on social media on Saturday, December 19, 2020. And Nikki points out that she is in Atlanta. The drawing is being held in Philadelphia, and the person there is doing the drawing, so it will not be her. The winner will receive half or 50% of the pot. The winnings will be sent to the winner's Cash App immediately after the drawing. So hopefully I explained it correctly, Nikki. Like I said, there's 50-50 drawing again. You're going to go to Cash App, put in this holiday 50-50. You get 1 chance for $2 and 3 chances for $5. The raffle will be held this Saturday. The winner will receive half of the pot. That's how that's working, okay? Yes, Helena has also, thank you very much, H2, appreciate it. Her niece is doing it for her. Absolutely.
I love that idea. That's great, Nikki.
For a ticket and $3 for 5. No, there's 3 chances for $5. 2 ticket is worth $2 for 1 chance. There we go. You're welcome, Nikki Boo. Okay, and as always, I also encourage people to check out some of my other broadcast and podcast partners in my Nighthawk network. As you say, we had Dr. Facey's Moments on Thursdays. We also have Stan Mason Behind the Blue Curtain. He talks about police reform and other things police related, has several excellent co-hosts as well as they discuss these things. His show is at 11 a.m. on Saturday. We have Dish and Tea with Big Meech, Aunt Nikki, and Big Red. Shout out to you, Big Red, whatever you is, you better check in, bruh. Their show is usually sometime on the weekend around 9ish or so, or those days when Meech is not at the donut factory as he is now. We got Hey Bitches with Helena Hologram. Her show is on Monday nights at 9. And of course, there's the remixes with her man's Derek, D-Nice, or whatever you choose to call Coach, because he is a coach too. And we also have coaches on the show known as Pure and Uncut. Lions Football Talking More with Coach V, Vincent Bay. I seen you in the comments. What up, Coach V? And Brother Will Muhammad. Hopefully he's feeling all right. I ain't seen him check in today, but hopefully. Oh, I see you now. There you go, Will. That's a really good idea. He says about the raffle. I might do one too. You should, Will. Shout out to you.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm wondering where you was at. Glad you checked in, my man. And then there's For Show Radio. They've been having some issues right now. They both pretty busy with work, so they ain't been on in a while. But when they get it back together, they will let us know. Keep in mind, Coach Will also will be one of my guests tomorrow on Get Off My Lawn Live, the bonus edition, because we're going to talk sports as we tend to do sometimes. So it's going to be me, Coach Will, and my boy Hugh Lee. Shout out to you, Hugh. I seen you was in the building too.
If you ain't talking cheap mess, don't talk.
We're gonna talk our sports. That's how we do. And of course, there is our cousin Elena Miller and her audio podcast, Girl Stop. They're on episode 10 right now. I'm going to post that tomorrow so y'all can check it out. Excellent discussion between her and her homegirl, Letitia Williams Howard, on women's issues and things of that nature as well. And also shout out to our new and hopefully continued podcast member. That would be Young JoJo. JoJo went live yesterday and had an excellent broadcast. Some very positive messages. Don't have no name or nothing for his show yet, but once you get that together, JoJo, let me know. I will officially add you to the list, my friend. Okay, we got a few more comments before we head on out the door here. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we've been there already. Yeah, there go Coach Will. Like you said, okay, this is a good idea. Yeah, you should do it, Will. Absolutely. You know I'm going to support you. I try to support all my people when I can. Please write your name and number in the memo when you send the Cash App. Absolutely. So they know who you are and what to send the money to. It is something we do as a family. And since we can't be together, we decided to do it virtual and invite everyone because we can all use some money right now. Absolutely. So good luck out there. If any of y'all win the raffle, let us know, man.
You know, can I say something with that? You know, Nikki, that is such a great idea because that alone is a connection. When people have a connection, that keeps them having hope. And that's great. I love to see that. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely sending me some money in.
Right. Like I said, and that's going to be a blessing to somebody. And who knows what that blessing will lead to on the other end.
That's right. Amen.
That's right. Make sure you're here tomorrow, my brother. I'm ready to get our sports talk on, my man. Always.
I'm getting ready to do mine now.
Coach Will from H2. Okay, well, make sure y'all get some from mine because mine is really going to be a very good cause. Absolutely, Nikki. You already know I got you, boo. Okay, hey, Tammy, what's going on? New friend I met today. What's going on, Tammy? Glad you could check the show out. Saying hi to Tammy as well. I definitely will. Yes, that's a great idea. I agree, Will. Oh, it's going to be 8:30 tomorrow, Will. You know I'm going to call you beforehand, brother. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Nikki. We appreciate it. So, yeah, we about to head on up out of here, y'all. Thank y'all so much for checking out the show and being a part. I'm glad we were able to have these discussions. Remember, there's light on the other end of the tunnel, y'all. Things going to get better. We about to have a president. He already starting to put in people and implement folks. I forgot to mention that in the hot topics earlier. He is going to make former Mayor Pete Buttigieg the transportation secretary, making him one of the first openly gay people to be a cabinet member in his cabinet. He's also going to have our former governor. Oh my goodness, I'm getting old, y'all. Miss Granholm, let's put it that way. Jennifer, there we go. Jennifer Granholm. He's going to make her the Secretary of Energy. I think that's a good pick as well. You know, she's been a CNN show contributor among other things. And, you know, he's basically starting to fill the cabinet out with people that don't look like the stereotypical old boy network. Older white gentlemen, preferably Southern, or people of money. We getting people from all different walks of life, as he said he would so far. He's doing a decent job of keeping up with his campaign promises, but we gotta keep holding him to it, y'all. We can't just get complacent. Okay, he did that, and then he gets to messing up, and we don't say nothing. That's how we got in this place in the first place. Okay, guys, I will let everyone know about my show Thursday. Yep, Nikki's gonna do her show this week too. Let's talk with Aunt Nikki. I will definitely post that when that becomes available. Okay, just sent mine. There you go. So there you go, Nikki. You got some more people contributing. So yeah, again, I will see you guys tomorrow. Be safe. Remember, y'all, as my brother Stan says, life is not a Trump rally. Wear your mask, okay?
I like that.
And wear it correctly. and by all means, if people not being safe around you, try not to be around them because I want to see y'all. Because in the end, well, we're not about to have this whole talk about not ending your life, and then you're around these foolish people, and they put you in that place. No. I want all my people to be back tomorrow and the next week and years to come, because we got some celebrations to do, and we're going to live a better life and all that. And I want to be alive to see it all, and I want you to be alive to see it as well. So y'all put this boy on. Don't be all touching it with the fake. You know the whole tutorial. I ain't going to take you through all that tonight, but y'all know what I'm saying. Keep it safe, y'all.
Amen.
Y'all be blessed. And I'm going to go on out with the commercial. Thank you, cousin, for co-host.
Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. Thanks for being here. Until next time, we out, people. Hi, this is your boy Eric Buckner, and right now you're looking at my show, Get Off My Lawn Live, here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Tune in each Tuesday as we talk trending topics, what's going on in my world, and the things that I feel we all need to talk about and have discussions about as people. So again, thanks for checking out the show and tune in each week for Get Off My Lawn Live with me, your host.